So the hot topic is enough protein. That's what everyone's saying. I don't get enough protein. I don't get enough protein. I try to eat a lot of protein. But in reality, you're still guessing. And when you're guessing, you're probably getting it wrong. So I wanted to spend today just really helping you understand the process, the pathway, and honestly, like why people even need protein. Now, one thing that most people don't realize is that your muscle is pretty much like your medicine. The more of it that you have, the more healthier you will be, because the muscle that you have on your body, it's there to essentially carry you over. So if you don't have much muscle, then you are relying on your joints and your bones, and then you're probably covering it with fat, and that is obviously not going to make you feel good. So the reason why everyone that has muscle on them, they feel so good, is because the muscle is constantly utilizing energy for it to do whatever it needs to do. Your workouts, your day-to-day function, whatever. So it's really important that we then fuel and feed the muscle so that it can maintain itself and it can also grow. We got to look at it like that. And so when it comes to protein, there are 3 key pathways that we have to think about. Now, a lot of the time people want to eat a lot of protein, which is fine, all right? But what is a lot? That's really ultimately the biggest question. What's a lot of protein? And so when we look at this, people can sometimes honestly overindulge on protein, or they can eat probably not enough. You're either one or the other. Very rarely are you hitting the mark and getting it right. So I want to kind of break that down, help you out, and see what you can do to apply this to your day-to-day. Now, protein, like I said, 3 different pathways. Number 1, the protein that you ingest is first going to go to your muscles. So let's say you've been doing some form of activity, whether it's strength training, whether it's running, whether it's whatever. Obviously, more of the protein will go to your muscles if you've been doing some form of resistance training. So you've got all these microfibers, and as you're doing your lifting, you're creating micro tears. And as you're creating these tears in the muscle, the protein will go in, repair the tear, grow it, build it, make it bigger, make it better, make it stronger, and then it's ready to go again the next day or the day after that. So that's going to be the first pathway. The protein will go directly to the muscle and help it regenerate, help it recover. The next one is, like, let's say you've had a lot of protein, right? Sometimes people will talk about, it's too high of a protein that it's then toxic. What they're meaning to say is that, yes, there is such thing as too much. There's such thing as too much of anything. Doesn't matter what it is that you're eating. Doesn't matter what it is that you're doing. There is such thing as too much of anything, even if it's a good thing. So the next step is going to be that your body will naturally try to urinate it out. So your body will actually excrete the protein in your urine. And it's not a lot, okay? It's just a small amount. But let's say you've ingested a ton of protein, and essentially enough has gone to your muscle to help you regenerate and recover. A little bit of excess has gone through the urination process. Now, there is a third process. Now, the third process is when you are really having too much protein. Yes, this is a thing, all right? So if someone's out there and they only weigh like 130 pounds, but they're having 400 grams of protein, yes, it's too much protein. So what that happens is your body will convert it to fat. So the reason why that happens is because your body can't just have it sitting there. It can't just have it there as protein. So what it does is it converts it over to fat, and it gets stored as fat. This is why having too much is not a good thing, because then it has like a reverse effect. Then you're like, I'm eating all this protein, but I'm getting heavier. I'm getting fatter, as people like to say. So usually it's because you're doing too much of something, maybe not enough of another thing. So it's really important to get it right. And if you want to get it right, the best thing that you can do is first understand how much muscle is on your body. The best way to do that is to get a body scan. Your body scan will tell you how much water you have, how much body fat you have, and then it will tell you how much muscle you have. And you always want to feed it how much muscle you have. So if you have 150 pounds of muscle, then you probably want to have at least 150 pounds of protein. But then you obviously add your activity to that. Then you're going to add your goal to that. So it's going to be different based off your body, your lifestyle, your training. Everything is based on you. So don't go and eat like someone else. Eat because you have your life. So there's all these calculators out there. And yes, you can go and find an online calculator. Maybe you can find 170 other ones, and they're all going to spit out a different number. The reason why they spit out a different number is because they aren't factoring in every aspect of your life to get you the nutrition that you need for your body. So this is why it's important for you to get a little bit more deeper and detailed in your approach. How you're going to do that is you're going to get a body scan. That is the very first thing that you can get. Once you get that, you can really start to then prioritize your macronutrients. Make sure you eat carbs, make sure you eat fats, make sure you get enough protein. This is going to be what helps you start to fuel your body better. Not only will you look good, but you're also going to perform well, and then you're going to sleep better, you're going to manage yourself better, and you're going to be able to do something with the body that you're building. This is so, so important because I can't tell you how many people out there, they are so dedicated and they are so committed to doing their workouts. They do so good with their training, but they do shit when it comes to their nutrition. What is the point in giving so much to your training and giving so little to your nutrition and then getting mad at yourself when your body doesn't look or feel the way that you want it to? There's a reason for that. And the reason is because you go all in on your training and you do nothing with your nutrition, and therefore your results speak for themselves. So if you want to get it right, if you truly want to actually change, then tackle them both, right? Your nutrition is more important than your training. It always starts with that. That is the foundation. That is the number one thing that you should be targeting. Stop giving so much to your training and barely anything to your nutrition. Because what is the point? You're just going to go forwards, backwards, and then you're going to be that person that really kind of is just on a rat race. You're doing the same thing over and over. Your body doesn't really change. You don't really change. And then nothing changes. And that's where you're going to get so discouraged. So get a scan. Now align the scan with, okay, what do you want? Okay, set your goals. And then when you have your goals in place, you have your scan in place, you know what kind of training you're doing, then you're going to apply the right nutritional method for you and what you want. And that's going to be a game changer for you. So a lot of the time people do different splits, right? When we talk about macros, we're talking about different splits. The number one split that is probably the most common out there is 40-30-30. 40% carbs, 30% fat, 30% protein. The next most common one out there is going to be 35 carbs, 35 protein, 30 fats, right? Notice that fats is always the last. There's a reason for that. And then the last one that I like to use sometimes for people who are really trying to lean out is 40% carbs, 40% protein, and 20% fat. No, I'm not a big fan of keto, and no, I'm not a big fan of carnivore. The reason for that is because they aren't long lasting. That's just the only reason why I'm not a fan of them. They might be good as a strategy to kind of kickstart you, but they're not good as a long-term way of eating. They're really not a good lifestyle habit to create. At the end of the day, our bodies were made to get carbs in, absorb them, utilize them, and do something with them. So if you don't feed them what it is that they need and what they want, yeah, you're going to feel like shit, right? And so, use this as a way to kickstart you and get you to at least a place where you feel better. And this is going to be so helpful for you to actually get the results that you want and start honestly looking the way that you want to look. This is going to be a game changer. So, like I said, there is absolutely no point being super disciplined with your training routine unless you are going to be disciplined with your nutrition. So it's up to you. Make a move, take action, because you're one decision away from a completely different life. And everything you want is on the other side of fear.